Let's make this simple wreath. It turned out great. It's perfect for beginners and probably supplies that you already have. So I started out with a blank wreath form that you can get really inexpensively from any store. And then I flattened out all of the branches because we're going to use the branches to attach everything. So using the branches, I'm just twisting. I'm probably about 4-inch sections of ribbon to make the loops, and we're going to go up one side and then mirror that and go down the other side. And in this video, I'm going to speed up through some of the longer process, and then the angles change as well, so you can get some better perspectives. Now for this portion of the wreath, this is one of my favorite ways to make bows, and it's about as easy as it gets. You can use this for Christmas trees, for garland, for anything, but all you do is cut a section of ribbon, basically make a circle or a loop, and then just push down in the middle, and we're gonna staple it. So effectively, we're just building a bow from the loops, and we're gonna do this a couple of times. You can see where I'm making another loop, and then you can visually lay it out and kind of see what you want to do or change. I'm just sizing that up to make sure it's going to be about the same size. And then I'm going to staple this one, and then we'll assemble the bow. So once you have your loops, you can see I just have them crisscross on top of each other, and we're just going to scrunch that up. And this is the only zip tie I'm using throughout this entire wreath. So we're just going to zip tie those together. This ribbon's pretty thick, so I just wanted to make sure it was going to be secured very well. And then you'll just fluff up your loops, but look at that. I mean, you're just basically creating an entire bow out of a few loops. And then I cut the tails. I cut probably like a 2-foot section of ribbon, and I undid the original branches from that red ribbon, and we're just going to tie that in there and strap that down. And that's basically the easiest way I know of to attach a bow to the wreath. Now for the ornaments, this is also one of my favorite tricks. It works great for garland and wreath. I even do this on Christmas trees, minus the hot glue, obviously. But take that little plastic cap off of the top of the ornament and then put some hot glue on it. And you can see I'm just going to take one of the branches from the wreath and then insert that into the ornament. And what this does is it gives you the ability to move that around, adjust it where you want it. And when you're adding stuff to the wreath, you can get everything situated, and the ornament's not going to go anywhere. So you're not having to deal with those little plastic tabs coming off, any of that, and certainly no wire hooks or anything like that. So we're just going to go through. I've got some of the plastic shatterproof ornaments, and we're just going to start putting the hot glue on and get those situated and placed throughout the wreath. And you can add and continue to add more throughout the design process of the wreath. Now we're going to start adding in some picks. I chose these red berries. One thing I always like to do is bend the picks to kind of match the shape of what I'm putting them in and fluff them out and make sure they look good. And then I'm cutting a bunch of that length off the end of it because we really don't need that. And then you're simply just going to glue those in to where you want them. I'm kind of just placing everything to get a visual of where I might want to add or take away or move stuff around. This is going to be one of my favorite tips and tricks. So if your bow, if you end up looking at it and you're like, oh, well, I should have made that bigger, or it just doesn't look as full as I want it to, this is the easiest way that I love to use. So I just cut a short strip of ribbon, and what I'm essentially doing is making another loop. So depending on the size of the bow, just make sure it's about the same as the other loops. But just loop that together and staple that end, and then you're just going to fold that over and staple it again. And what we're going to do is be able to place that where we think it needs to be more full. So you want to add to the bow. So we'll end up just putting some hot glue and attaching that into the wreath. So like I said, it's just an easy way to be able to add to it instead of having to take something apart. So I hope y'all find that helpful, and we're almost to the end. I think it turned out great. Be sure to share, like. I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this, and the finished product is coming up.